So, all my friends, they always ask me to tell them about Dying Light 2 since I'm the only one who's bought it so far in my friend group. I decided, it's 4 a.m. I'm bored as hell. I might as well make a review. This is probably going to be unlisted, but I don't really care. Hi, my name is Frank, and this game, I love it. I played Dying Light 1, maybe started playing like 5 years ago. I don't remember. I remember playing it on this old gaming laptop, pretty old. And this game, if you want to just get a score, although that's a little bit too oversimplified, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Original game gets a 9 because this game, the short version is it loses some of the weight in combat. The combat doesn't feel as good, but the movement is much more arcadey and fun. With the exception of the grappling hook, which I have right here, which I have a couple issues with, but we will get into that. So this is the tallest tower in the game, the VNC tower. I'm going to use this to show a couple things. First off, a big thing that was in the promotional materials and what I thought was going to hurt the game is the paraglider. The paraglider, I thought it was kind of going to hurt the game because you don't have to be really careful and find a good landing spot. It only partly applies, because it's still more fun to look for the, what they're called amortizers for some reason in this game, and cars as well. It's just more fun. Fun is what I value, which the grappling hook also harms, which I'll get into in a moment. So the parkour system in this game, you'll feel pretty at home if you enjoyed the first game, because a couple differences is sprinting doesn't consume stamina except for the dash skill, which allows you to move faster, but one notable change is holding on to ledges like this, it drains your stamina. Now, fortunately, scattered across the world are inhibitors, which I'm sure you can read, but you can increase your health or stamina, which all these skills require either health or stamina to unlock. These require stamina, these require health. And, similar weapon modding system as the first game, except, there are crit mods, there's power mods, which you have to charge up by hitting. Then there's, where is it? Charge mods, which are similar to power mods, but they function a bit differently. And another big thing is obviously the whole stay human part of it. That skull up there is my immunity, and obviously if your immunity goes to 0, you die. And there are there are drugs to help with that restore your immunity. Although immunity is only an issue indoors and at night because UV light staves off the infection. And there are other things, these patches of yellow areas with chemicals that the GRE dropped in. Those will very quickly lower your immunity. Well, some areas they only have your immunity roughly, because you're supposed to go through those areas. Other than that, it's mostly just to stop you from going outside the map and things like that. Oh yeah, I can show the grappling hook here. Let me just glider. So the oh, okay. So that is a skill called the long jump. So, one of the arcade elements, it's a bit unrealistic, but I mean, realism doesn't matter. Oh hey, and another thing I want to get into, chases. They're similar to the first game. It starts off with virals, but when you hit level 3, they're volatiles after you. And it's pretty fun, except my issue is that it gets to be there's so many of them. Either you have to go on top of a large tower like that one, where you have to go into a UV zone to be able to escape them, to be able to actually escape them. So this is why the grappling hook is a bit busted. In the first game, it was on a cooldown, but in this game, you just need stamina to be able to use it. It's a bit broken, but I mean, you know, it can kind of compromise the gameplay if you go full fucking goblin mode and just use the grappling hook, because why play Dying Light if you're not going to engage with the parkour? I still remember the days in Dying Light 1, when it was just coming out, when I was so excited because it was described as a mix of Mirror's Edge and Dead Island, which I love both of those games. And you can, as you can probably tell, I have a passion for Dying Light, definitely. Dying Light is excellent. I just love the games. A couple things though, like one thing I really loved was the multiplayer system, the invasions, where someone would play as a night hunter, one of those volatiles that are just souped up. Those were pretty fun. I hope they come back in a future update. And a couple other things too, like I was really confused when, well, before that, there's a lot of fan service in this game, like referring to the first game. I'm fine with that, honestly. And another thing, so this is how the grappling hook normally functions, but something the tutorial doesn't tell you is that you can double tap the button and use it to just pull yourself towards it. Wow, I'm going a lot. So, fuck. Wow, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm not very good at this. Oh yeah, another one you've already noticed by now, but it's a bit confusing. Completely different character, but it's still voiced by the guy who voiced Kyle Crane. Can't remember his name for the life of me, but I mean, you can just look it up if you really care. A couple other funny things, like the drop kick is back in fantastic fashion. It's really overpowered because a lot of fights happen on buildings with human enemies, and obviously you can just drop kick them off a 50-foot drop and they'll just die. And another one is, it's a really fun one. I'll try and find a place to discuss it, but I want to introduce topics in-game and in voice at the same time. So, one thing is that, even more so than the first game, you really should play on gamepad, because, I noticed that the active landing timing when you roll to save yourself from fall damage is very it's not inconsistent, but no matter what I tried on keyboard, I could not get it to work. So, yeah, gamepad is pretty much essential, which is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, it's... Playing mouse and keyboard Dying Light is a bit weird. It's like playing Dark Souls with mouse and keyboard, but I guess not as bad. It's just, you know, it's not the optimal system. It's like playing Yakuza on gamepad. That's a bit... on keyboard, sorry. That's a bit more of an fair comparison, because it's not as bad. A couple other things which are interesting is there is it feels more like the Far Cry games, which is good or bad depending on your viewpoint. There's just random things dotted around to do other than side quests, like up there is a windmill. You capture those to increase the control of your faction area and unlock new structures for you. And with the different factions, there's the Peacekeepers and the Survivors. Peacekeepers, if you help them, they install traps like car alarm traps, UV traps, electric fence traps, things like that in the first game. But later on, they also provide you with things like new traps, like this giant pendulum trap. They give you a semi-automatic crossbow. But I chose to go more with the Survivors, because the Survivors, they give you parkour tools, like these bags here. They will break your fall for you. More important things too, like better zip lines, more air vents, which you boost your paraglider from. And I mean, the parkour is the best part of this game. And so,
and that's what counts.
I remember I've heard a lot of people complaining about the story, but I don't think anybody was expecting a good story. I mean, Techland I mean, some of the side stories have been good in the past. Techland is sometimes good at world building, but I mean, I don't think anybody played the original Dying Light for the story. I mean, I liked it, but it was a bit generic. In this game, the story is also kind of weak. Aiden, the protagonist, is searching for his sister Mia. They were experimented on by the GRE. Those aren't spoilers. Those are like first 30 minutes you learn that. And, you know, it's like complaining about Doom having a bad, clumsy story because, you know, in the original games, it was all delivered to you via a wall of text. It's just not the reason why you play the game. So it's kind of a moot point in my eyes. And I'm sorry if you hear me clearing my throat constantly. I have a really bad habit of doing that. And, I mean, you know, I'm just some random dude, so you can't really expect quality. You can't expect quality, that's why I'm not cutting any of this, and I'm just going to be doing it all in one take. Isn't that smart, eh? So you get to hear all of my dumb mistakes. That's excellent. But I want to try and get to a building with someone. Or maybe actually, no, I know how I can do it. Hang on. I got a great idea. Oh yeah, one thing is that cars save you no matter the height. In the first game, they only saved you up to about 20 meters. In this game, they act like garbage. They will save you from any fall. Which is, you know, it's another realism step down, but realism in this game is kind of dumb. You know, you don't... Oh, damn it. Realism is not something you play the game for, like the story. Especially this game. Dying Light 1 was a decent bit more realistic, but this game doesn't. I mean, you know, you saw earlier, I went up about, 5-7 meters in the air by vaulting off of a zombie's head. Not really realistic, but it's fun gameplay. So one thing is the trailers, not the trailers, but the cover art of Aiden jumping off the building with a zombie to cushion him. Damn it, ruined it. But it's also in this game. You can do it from any height, but it's a bit hard to, on that VNC tower I started at, nothing spawns up there, you know, it's a bit hard to get a good example of it. And I heard somebody say that you get more kills with the skills than the weapons, which I kind of agree with it, because mainly because the drop kick, you can get a lot of kills with that. It's a bit broken in this game. Especially, you can just drop kick survivors off the tops of buildings if you don't have any moral scruples of it, and you get plenty of money. Speaking of money, the economy of this game's a bit weird. Like, say, a purple weapon, even at my level, would only net me about 10 gold. I'm just gonna call it gold. It would only net me about 10 gold, which is a bit odd, because a very similar weapon at the vendor will cost probably a couple thousand. And the best way of making money is selling valuable items, like in the first game. Say, cigarettes. And also looting dead survivors. Survivors carry a lot of gold, typically. And there's a lot of things in the environment that help you parkour, like these little metal plates that tip around. The wall run and tic-tac are back. Oh, well, that was embarrassing. The wall run and tic-tac are all back. I mean, it's what everybody wanted, pretty much. It's just an expanded Dying Light 1. I'm pretty happy with the game. Yeah, I already mentioned my gripes. I can't really think of many others. So now from here, it's pretty much just gonna be me rambling over some uncut, probably boring gameplay, although maybe it'll be a bit more exciting as I get into a chase. I'm not sure though. So, yeah, there's a lot of zombies after me, as you can see. Volatiles, even I'm decently far through the game. I've got about 100 hours under my belt. Volatiles will still one-shot me. And playing a video game before reviewing it, that's something that not even game journalists do. Maybe I am not a bad reviewer. So then there's the high jump, which you can choose instead of the long jump, although the long jump is better in most situations. Because the high jump is mostly just for vertical distance, whereas the long jump is obviously for horizontal, but I would rather take the horizontal with like a decent chunk of vertical, rather than the vertical with more vertical with barely any horizontal. Like, horizontal movement on that is kind of pitiful. Yeah, these are Peacekeeper guys. He aggroed on me, so I'm just gonna murder him. Yeah, they can aggro you if you accidentally drop on their heads like that, because that does damage, so you need to be careful with that. You can very easily accidentally get in a fight when you don't want to be in a fight. Oh yeah, something else I should mention. Crafting system, it's pretty similar. I mean, it's a bit less grounded. I feel like the whole using plants to craft things, it kind of reinforces the fact that this world, it takes place in 2037, about I think a decade after the last game, so that really brings home how over the world is, you know. The world has been ended for quite a while. And not even the GRE are left, it's just this city, the lore. Something I like is, the explanation for why there aren't any guns is rather interesting. The military, which was defending the walled-off city from all the zombies, they walled it off after, sorry. And also for riots, which were starting to happen, they needed more guns. So they made it illegal to own firearms, and they confiscated all of the firearms that people had. But ironically, not long after, they all ran out of ammunition, so guns are pretty much useless, which is shown because I have a gun hammer. And, you know, realistically, ammunition, you can reload it pretty... I mean, you know, you just need the casings. You can make black powder yourself. Well, gunpowder. I'm not going to tell you to, because probably technically illegal, but yeah. And you need a bullet in the front, which you can probably fashion that if you have any amount of skill. I would make a joke about the government in this game taking away guns, but I don't know what kind of people are going to be watching this, so, you know, I should probably keep my opinions to myself. That's, I'm an American, as you can probably tell by my shitty generic accent, so, you know, you can probably assume my opinions on it based on how I also know how the reloading process works. But, yeah, ignoring that. These Howler guys, as you've seen, they get enemies onto you. Those guys with the backpacks, I think they're traders, they drop more loot, I believe. I'm trying to think of other things I can talk about. To the, 5 guys who are gonna fucking watch this. Maybe I can blame my bad gameplay on my hand, because there's something wrong with my hand, and I'm probably 90% sure it's essentially carpal tunnel's less important, lesser-known brother with the ulnar nerve. And so, left palm, pinky, and left side of my ring finger feel weak. And worst thing is, it's on my right hand. And it's gotten to the point where my grip strength is actually stronger on my left hand. Real inconvenient, but I mean, I'm gonna get it all sorted out soon. Other than that, things have been pretty boring lately. I mean, obviously the US is really chaotic right now, but I haven't really felt the effects of that, especially since life is pretty much normal as it was many years ago, because I'm a dumbass, but I'm not gonna say where I live. But I live in a state where there are not COVID restrictions. Oh god, I just said that one word and this video is just gonna get like, correction, you know, you're wrong about Conehead. You should go to this Wikipedia link. Oh no, I think it links to the CDC website, but that doesn't matter. That's unrelated. Although I shouldn't even be mentioning it because you're probably as sick as me about hearing about that virus. Because I mean, it's pretty boring. Oh yeah, Night Runner's hideout. It says repair the generator, but you really just started. These just unlock little UV areas, a stash, and a place to sleep to progress. I'm gonna wait until night just because I want to get a chase. Oh yeah, Aiden doing that, I think it's implied that the inhibitors have side effects, and that's probably a side effect of the inhibitors, because everybody... So that little green bracelet and what tells me what my immunity is at, everybody in this city is infected with the virus. But like I said previously, UV light and various drugs can stave it off. And a couple other interesting mechanics, like buildings like, say, this. Aren't any zombies in this building, but zombies will retreat to buildings during the day and leave at night. So you should do your looting during the night when it's riskier out on the streets, but they're not in the buildings. Sometimes if you're really unlucky, there can be a volatile in one of those buildings, which is a real bad time. Well, fuck. Just distracted. And... God damn it. Bad luck. A couple other old favorites return, like the, obviously the grappling hook, but also the UV flashlight functions in the same way. Although, honestly, I don't see why Aiden can't just turn the flashlight on himself. Although, I mean, it serves gameplay, because immunity is already pretty much a non-issue. Because I've only gotten, like, a third of all the inhibitors in the game, I think. And my immunity, I have 10 minutes before I die. Almost 11. And that's obviously a good amount of time to get to UV light or find drugs or get the UV shrooms. So, I'm playing on hard, by the way. I wish the immunity was a much larger factor in the game, because it's even in the title. It's in the title. Stay human, immunity should be a big part of the game. I really wish they did more with it, like immunity drugs were more scarce, because, I mean, 36 plus 3, so 39. It's a non-issue. Oh, and that's ignoring UV shrooms, which give you about a minute back. It's just kind of a missed opportunity. It could be really interesting. Oh yeah, parkour challenges and all that are back. There's combat challenges too. I don't think I'm gonna 100% this game just because I don't really like doing all those challenges, especially getting pulled up. I still remember in Dying Light 1 doing the challenge for the Jade Dagger. It was a really good dagger, but damn was that challenge difficult. That challenge took me a solid month of getting good. It was, real nice dagger though, the speed boost you get from it is very convenient. Funnily enough, the speed boost you get from it is very nice for finishing that challenge, which I find humorous. You have to do the challenge to get the item that makes it easier to do the challenge. Oh yeah, and then the inhibitors that I was talking about, they increase your immunity and the stat that you can choose. You can just find them randomly around or during activities like, at the night there's something called a GRE anomaly, which are these tough enemies that can resurrect normal zombies that are only out at night. There's these special night-only areas. Well, not night-only, but just you should only go there at night. Also, I want to scan this QR code. I wonder if it leads to anything. Let me see. I've never actually noticed that QR code. I always like to scan QR codes in games because they usually lead to something. I'm just gonna go through. Damn it, I can't get a good... It won't let me get a good scan. Let me just screenshot it for... Well, I won't have to screenshot it because I'm recording. And Shadowplay won't even let me do that, so... whatever. Doesn't matter. So that symbol down there on the right, those are the Renegades. And the Renegades, I mean, they're hostile to both factions. They're your ubiquitous, not ubiquitous, but cliche kind of tie both factions together faction, because it's a greater evil. That's pretty much it. A lot of games with factions have those, but it's not really taken away from the game. Man, this swimming is boring. Something I really like is in Dying Light 1, the slums were kind of mediocre. You know, they didn't show off the full potential of the game. But Old Town really let you free and let you experience everything, which is really fun. And this entire game is like Old Town, and Old Town, it was also designed for having the late game skills and the grappling hook. But it's the same thing with the area I'm in right now, because soon after you arrive here, you get the paraglider, and then a little while later, you unlock the grappling hook as well. Oh yeah, these little random encounters, you get some XP and items from the survivor, but I don't care about the items right now, because it's probably just going to be an immunity booster or something, because my luck is not very good. I mean, I'd rather just take the XP. Oh yeah, I can do one of these windmills and kind of show how it works. It's pretty simple, you just have to climb up. Oh, fuck, I didn't notice. Yeah, these are the Renegades. Didn't work out. Wow, I'm kind of out of my depth here. Fuck. Okay, I have an idea. Wow, that did not work out at all. But that worked out. As you can assume, that guy is most definitely fucking dead. I'm not doing well. Wow, how can I not parry a single attack? Damn. I swear I'm not usually this bad. Or maybe that's just a cope, I'm not sure. Fuck. Why am I so bad right now? I have no idea what's going on. Well, yeah, I guess it is, what, now 5 a.m.? Something like that? So, can't expect great performance. I wasn't very good at in the first place. And then you can vault off enemies' heads. That's pretty fun. Is he? Oh, I thought he managed to survive that. Fucking, oh, I love this. I love doing shit like that. The stomp allows you to... It's meant for enemies on the ground, but it also works in cases like that, where they're just at foot level, roughly. That's funny. Yeah, grappling hooks allow you to just fucking skip entire sections. That one required the grappling hook, but it allows you to just skip a lot of the parkour. Which, the first game had that too, but at most the cooldown was, what, 30 seconds? No, it was like 20 seconds between uses. But now it's entirely dependent on your stamina bar, which is a negative change in my opinion, because you can just skip a lot of the shit. Although I do like the choice between swinging or just pulling, it can be fun, yeah. And also these bags here, I've never really gotten a lot of use out of them. They're not crazy useful in my opinion. I'd rather just roll at the ground because it's faster, or paraglider. I missed. I played. Lots of dead air going on. I can't really think of anything more to say, so I'll probably just get to the top of the V. Might as well end where I started, at the top of the VMC tower, because it's kind of fitting. I still have it marked. I can kind of, well, no, I can't actually show it off because now the elevator that you actually need to take to get halfway up, it just takes you to the top, which is kind of sad. You can't re-experience the cool climb, which was a real treat, but whatever. I hope my quest summary thing wasn't showing, because somebody cares about the story of this game. That's kind of a spoiler, but like I said, people probably aren't going to play this game for the story. But I mean, even then, it's pretty minor. It's just for one mission. You don't have any of the context behind it, who any of the characters are. Although, honestly, Dying Light 1, I really like its story more so far. Like, especially the following was fantastic. The following, I really liked the ending. Spoiler for a 5-year-old game. Probably skip forward, like, what, 30 seconds to a minute to avoid these, but at the end, the canonical ending, Crane has to become one of the sentient volatiles. And then that's setting up a sequel because he infects the rest of the world. Although, honestly, at least me, I wasn't expecting a sequel. I was certainly pleasantly surprised. But then I was kind of worried that it'd become kind of a Fallout 76 situation where it can't live up to the hype. But, I mean, I love this game. It's everything I expected, so. My $60 was well spent in my eyes. Of course, some people don't want to spend money on video games, but I mean, it's the main thing I enjoy nowadays, so why not? You know, it's not like I have any bills to pay, so. A couple more years. But the gameplay still flows really nicely. Something interesting is you can probably notice it if you were paying attention to more than just my speech. Well, it's kind of what's the word, soliloquy or a monologue? I'm not sure I don't remember what the difference is, but me just kind of talking to myself. The music, it kind of sounds tuned out or muffled whenever you go inside a building, and then when you go back outside it's normal again. I really like details in music like that. It reminds me of in Metal Gear Rising. Spoilers for another old game, probably skip forward a minute. Well, probably 30 seconds. Also, I can't go up top. What? But in the Sam fight, whenever you knock the sword out of his hand, the vocals for the song stop. But then, whenever he gets his sword back, the vocals begin again. Something very similar happens with the Sed or Armstrong fight, where you're using Sam's sword, and when you use Sam's sword, when Armstrong knocks it out of your hands, the vocals also stop. Which I already said, I really like the hiccups, but I really like details like that. Ooh. Acid reflux, I'm sorry. But details like that are just... It's the small things that most people won't notice. But the people who actually really care, they do notice. And it's really... I just love those details, man. They're excellent. I don't know why it allowed me to go take the elevator to the top earlier and not now, but... Hey, I guess you will be able to see the climb. Actually, wait, hang on. I don't think this will work. This is most definitely not gonna work. Oh, God. Oh. Well, shit. That was kind of ill-fated from the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, that was not very smart. It's a revive at dawn, so it's a clear view. It spawned me in the same building. Why is that a yellow? Why is there a yellow haze? What the hell? That's weird.
It means you've been cursed. Maybe, but most.
Oh, this is the elevator that lets you ride to the top. Okay. What is this yellow haze like?
Believing in superstition and witchcraft.
Hasn't it always been this way?
Oh yeah,
not this bad.
I'm running the game at all high settings, no ray tracing, and I think I'm getting... Did the recording end? No, it didn't. Okay. I think I'm getting about 120 FPS, roughly. This game runs pretty well as long as you don't turn on ray tracing. If you turn on ray tracing, even with performance DLSS, it will fucking nuke your PC. It really hurts your performance. Also, what's going on with this elevator? The elevator? Okay, I hear the elevator. But this game can be pretty hard on your system if you try to run it on high settings, but I mean, I think my friend has a 1060 and he can run it on low and medium. So it's not a super high bar to entry. But yeah, don't expect it to look fantastic if you don't have amazing hardware. Because I'm running this on a 2070 and my CPU is a i9-9900K, which CPU doesn't really matter, but the GPU, I mean, I think it usually runs about 70 degrees Celsius when I play the game. So nice and toasty, but I've never had issues with it. And I get pretty good performance, like I said, with high settings. Wow, weird lighting bugs in this elevator. It's a bit weird. Dying Light 1, at least this game has elevators. Dying Light 1 elevators were pretty much mostly just load zones. Although with these elevators, you're actually moving. The elevators that weren't load zones in Dying Light 1, I'm pretty sure they were just teleports, like the good old Duke Nukem or Doom trick. Man, those old games, they had such smart ways of getting around graphical limitations, like the mirrors in Duke Nukem 3D. Those mirrors, they just rendered another version of the room with an AI that matches your exact movements when you move around as Duke. And I learned of that, and I always found that hilarious, because it's such a clever workaround. I need to get to the content. I wish the tutorial for it actually told you about the whole grapple hook can be used both ways thing, but it didn't. Oh yeah, I have the ladders here, but I might as well take the scenic route. I might as well take the scenic route and actually climb. So it gives me more time to say things before I have to end this. What the hell? Okay. We didn't want to grab it for a sec. That's a bit odd. But alright. Yeah, this game also has co-op. I heard there's some sort of bug with it, but they're fixing it in the next patch. I haven't tried it yet with Dying Light 1 co-op. If it's anything like it, it's going to be pretty fun. Like I said, I still wish it had the Night Hunter mode. But I'm pretty sure those are going to be my closing words. Like I said, this game, it's fantastic. I recommend it. If you liked Dying Light 1, if you haven't played Dying Light 1, you should play it first to get an idea, because Dying Light 1 is probably only about $30, I'd estimate. But yeah, this game is also fantastic. So, I hope this wasn't too terrible. I hope you enjoyed all of my incessant ranting and ramblings. And I may see you next time.